Welcome to another episode of this podcast. If you're new here, you don't know who I am. My name is Nadia. I'm the founder of Functional Beauty. It's a holistic approach to beauty that teaches you how to get your best skin from the inside out and the outside in without intervention. You'll find so much content on the beautydoctrine.com as well. If you're looking for my top recommendations, courses, you name it, you'll be able to find it there. Everything that I'm going to talk about in this video will be linked up in the comments. Everywhere I turn, there is some video promising that castor oil is going to fix your life. It's going to do everything. And so in this video, we're going to break it all down, and all the scientific references are going to be listed down below. So this is an objective view. I love castor oil, but you gotta know what the side effects are and what the actual benefits are, because there's just so much exaggeration out there. If you go on my TikTok, there was a woman that had so much passion that was pushing for castor oil to be used to heal cataract and all these things. Please don't do that. Don't put castor oil in your eye. No doubt, castor oil has amazing benefits, but healing cataract is not one of them. Castor oil is one of those things that has been used in every culture, every civilization, from the Egyptians to the Chinese to Africa to Ayurveda. So there is a lot to be said about this oil. So the first very well-known and proven use for castor oil is hair growth. For the period of time right before launching hair growth serum, and I was testing it for several months, and my hair was growing like weeds. It's short now because I just cut it, but I'm 47, almost super close to 47. This is probably TMI, but I think I'm entering perimenopause, and that's the age where a lot of women start experiencing hair fall. However, my hair is growing like crazy, and I know it's because of hair growth serum. Read about that on beautydoctrine.com. But one of the key 5 oils that are proven by science to work is castor oil. So the only issue here, I don't want you using castor oil alone directly on the scalp. Why? Formulas matter so much, especially with this one. It's viscous, it's sticky. Actually, my sister taught me this a very long time ago. She loves to slick her hair back, and instead of using a hair gel that has alcohols and fragrance and all these toxic and drying ingredients, she uses strictly castor oil to slick it back. It works better than any hair gel for that one reason, because it's sticky and it's viscous. But it's really hard to wash it off, and you don't want to leave it on for too long, right? So who should be using it as a hair gel? Maybe, guys, a lot of times, not women, because they tend to wash their hair every day for the most part. Obviously, we don't want to generalize, but a lot of men tend to have shorter haircuts. They want to slick their hair back. Some of them, when it's in style. And so castor oil makes a really, really great option for that. If you were to use it as a hair gel or instead of hair gel, just make sure when you get home at night, you're washing it off. Because when you're out and about throughout the day, there's pollution and all types of stuff, and it's going to attract all that, gets deposited into your scalp. Overnight, all that stuff is soaking deep into the hair follicle, and that actually can cause breakage because you're suffocating that hair follicle. Hair needs to have room to grow. Always think of your hair as a plant. So you want to fertilize it, but you don't want to suffocate it. You want to allow room. You want that soil to be fluffy. You want to allow room for that plant to grow. Same thing with your hair. And so castor oil, if used for hair growth, it needs to first of all be in a combination of oils, so it's lighter, it's not viscous and sticky, right? And also it needs to be massaged into the hair maybe 20 minutes before you shampoo. That's about it. Every once in a while you can leave it on overnight, depending on how light that formula is, but it's not something that I'll just leave on for days. It wouldn't be a you leave in that you leave on. And going back to the hair gel, you would only apply it for the day and then wash it off at night, so that way you're allowing that hair growth to happen overnight. When we're sleeping, that's when all the magic is happening in our bodies. Our cells are regenerating, hair growth is happening, all the cells are repairing, autophagy is happening. So there are so many different, processes that are happening overnight. So we don't want to block any of it. We want to allow that hair to continue to grow. Continuing with the benefit of hair growth, you can apply castor oil to your lash line. So you can just use a Q-tip and line your lash line with it very lightly, and you can leave that overnight, of course, on a washed face. And obviously that's much easier to wash in the morning. It's not like the hair where we don't want that accumulating, and of course we don't want that castor oil to be applied to the lash line during the day. Before you get to any of that, we need to keep in mind that castor oil can be allergenic. So just like nut oils, like almond oil, you have to be very careful. You never want to end up with an allergic reaction or some really weird, redness or rash. So the best course of action to do if you're thinking about getting into castor oil, you haven't used it before, especially around your lash line, use it on the inside of your elbow for 3 days straight. So whatever products you purchase that has castor oil, and hopefully you get a really high quality one, apply it on the inside of the elbow, just leave it on, go about your day, do it again the next day and the next day. And so if you're not getting a rash, you're not getting any issue, then you would apply it on the lash line. So when you're applying your castor oil on the lash line, obviously we want to make sure that it is on a completely clean face, a really light application so it's not really getting into the eye. And then when you wake up in the morning, you're washing your face with a cleanser. Water is not going to cut it. We should be using a gentle cleanser regardless every single morning. Let's talk about the benefits of castor oil for the face. So we've established that it's viscous, so that means automatically it would make a great occlusive. But yet again, I never ever recommend using it directly on skin because it could clog your pores and cause you to break out. So it doesn't mean that it's a bad ingredient, it just needs to be used right. And so always look for it on the ingredient list, but it shouldn't be the only thing that you're using purely on the skin. So we want to lighten it up. If you want to do a DIY, one of my favorite oils to mix that with is going to be jojoba. So jojoba is suitable for all skin types. I love it. It's the main ingredient in barrier repair serum, which changed so many people's skin. It's phenomenal. I swear by that product. Or if you're, let's say, on the acneic side, if you're on the oily side, really good suitable oil for your skin type is going to be grape seed oil. A second one would be camellia seed oil, which is white tea. And so those two oils can be very light and they're gonna offset that viscosity. It's gonna offset the thickness and the occlusive factor of castor oil. So a good blend would be the way to go. Castor oil makes an appearance in so many natural sunscreens. And that's because it gives them that really emollient texture. We also want for the sunscreen to stay on the surface of the skin to actually protect you. I'm talking mineral sunscreen. So by now, if you're part of my community, please don't be using chemical sunscreen. It's one of the worst things that you can apply on your skin. I'll have follow-up videos on that. But back to the right sunscreen, make sure that you're using a zinc-based sunscreen. That's really the only ingredient that's compatible with your skin, that's really going to protect you, that's broad spectrum, UVA, UVB protection, all of that. And so it's a really good ingredient to pair up with castor oil because yes, sunscreen on its own, if you're using non-nano, it's gonna sit on the surface of the skin and block the sun versus chemical sunscreens, which actually absorb into your skin and absorb sunlight. The other benefit to using castor oil as a sunscreen, so let's say you don't have access to a sunscreen at all. For some reason, you ran out or you're in a deserted island and you don't have access to it. Castor oil, because of its emolliency and its viscous nature, has an SPF of 6, which can protect you to a certain level. You're still, like if you're, let's say, prone to sunburns, so that's the lighter the skin, the more prone it is to sunburn because you don't have enough melanin in the skin, and you are sitting in the sun for a long period of time, you might still get a sunburn. And so when I say that it has a sunscreen of 6, it has a certain capacity to give you UV protection, but not for a long period of time. Just keep that in mind. Any product that has castor oil does have an additional layer of sun protection, but I wouldn't rely on it. Now let's talk about the benefits of castor oil for the body, and I think those are really the most notable ones. Well, that and hair growth. Depends on which one is more important to you. But for the body, it can really deliver. So castor oil can be very beneficial for stretch marks. It will not take them away. It's not going to remove them. Like a stretch mark is literally skin that's been torn. I can tell you I've got plenty of those from my pregnancies. There's no amount of castor oil or any other skincare for that matter that will make stretch marks disappear. That's not possible. So save your money on products that are telling you they're gonna take stretch marks away. If for some reason you've used a product that actually took your stretch marks away, please let me know. I would love to be proven wrong. That's what the comment section is for. But it will improve the appearance of stretch marks, because stretch marks can be improved when the skin is actually well hydrated and moisturized, and the skin can hold on to castor oil longer than it can to other oils because they're much lighter. Whatever you put on your skin is going to go in, but castor oil is going to have that very, very, very slow absorption because of its thick texture, meaning it's going to sit on that surface longer. You're going to retain moisture much, much, much longer, which means the skin is going to be comfortable. It's more supple, it's more elastic, so the benefits are amazing. It can also be very beneficial for cracked heels, for scars, the very reason that I just explained, because of its capacity to stay on the skin for a much longer time, protect it longer. So think of it as the healthy alternative to petrolatum. And I really hope that you're not using petrolatum any longer. I can do a video about that, about all the reasons why we should skip that. But castor oil would be an amazing alternative to any petroleum jelly product. The other benefit for the body, which is actually internal, is helping with joint pain. So our joints get really stiff over time. So when you look at a baby cartilage, it's light and it's supple. As we age, it's stiffer and it's brown, and that's why we get all the pains everywhere. So when you're just massaging your joints with castor oil on a daily basis, especially if you have an issue, you are kind of infusing your joints. You know, there's that absorption that happens slowly, and you'll have less joint pain because of that. The other thing is it's rich with omega-3 fatty acids and vitamin E, which are phenomenal to help both with inflammation, deep moisturization, and antioxidant delivery. And antioxidants do what? They help us fight off oxidation from free radical damage. Let's talk about how this oil is extracted. There are a few ways that it's extracted from the seed. One of them is using heavy machinery to press it out of the oil. That's a healthy way for our bodies. However, that type of oil tends to retain its allergenic effect. So you want to make sure, like I said earlier, to conduct that allergy test. The second way that it's extracted is using a chemical called hexane. And so you want to look for a hexane-free castor oil in order to get the healthiest version possible. Have you used castor oil and had any success with it or issues? Please answer in the comments to help everybody learn. Obviously, this video provides foundational information, but you know what? The very best learning is from experience. So let's learn from each other. So go ahead and share your experiences. Any questions you may have, I read every single one, and I promise I will make a video to answer your questions. Don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Until then, be well, be safe, be beautiful.